Hello, everybody, and welcome to Simply Technical. Back here again, Keaton and I. That way, I knew it. I was wrong the first time, and we're back again. Of course, me pointing the wrong way. It's a standard. It's standard now. It's not Simply Technical if I don't point the wrong way. But we kind of wanted to talk. We have a couple different topics. We'll talk about threads a little bit later into the episode, but this article I found came across called bed rotting.
And rotting.
And it's a Gen Z thing apparently, and we know how every generation likes to just crap on the generation after them, the younger generation. It used to be millennials.
Is that what we're about to do?
We're the scapegoat. Millennials were scapegoats for the longest time, but now we're too old. Now we're like 37. So, but anyways, bed rotting is like this new trend, I guess, and it's just people lying in bed all day, and then they're taking snacks and screens. And I think we've all done it maybe a little bit before. I know I have. Like on days I was like, work doesn't really appeal to me, and you lay in bed or lay around the house, I guess. But bed rotting would be specifically laying in bed all day.
So just like you're saying, like doing absolutely
nothing. You might binge Netflix or some other Amazon Prime video. And Gen Z is considering it like a mental health day, or like what's it called, self-care? Is that what
self-care?
They call it?
That sounds like doing maybe the worst way to self-care ever. That's what you do whenever you have like the flu or something.
Yeah, it's just this leisure trend, I guess. And psychiatrists are calling it interesting or fascinating, which is kind of weird because, like, okay, so I've done something similar. I might not have done it all day, but I might have done it for, hey, I'm not going to go into work today. I don't feel like it, being lazy. And I might sit in bed, if I wake up at 8, okay, well, I might sit in bed till 10. And I kind of feel nasty afterwards. Like, I feel extremely lazy. Like, yeah. Okay, well, I've been in bed for the past 14 hours. Like, this is gross. I feel gross. So yeah, I don't know. What's your initial thought on that?
My initial thought is that is crazy. And I actually wonder how popular this is, because I've never heard of this. Like, I don't know if it's just like one of those things that is being blown up by news or whatever. But let's just assume it's very common among some Gen Zers. That just blows my mind because, like you said, whenever I sit in bed, when I wake up in the morning, I probably stay in bed for like an hour on my phone every day, because I'm like, and I always feel like I just wasted so much time. So actually, just this past week, I've been trying to not get on the phone in the morning. So it's like inside right now, it's killing me to hear about people staying in bed all day when they're not sick. So it's just like extra angering to me right now, just because of the past week.
So this psychiatrist, Dr. Sultan, he's a board certified psychiatrist from research at Columbia, is saying in many ways this is beneficial. It's a chance to clear your mind, recharge, and regroup before returning to life in a better frame of mind.
I mean,
I think we're gonna get nuked. I think.
Yeah. I would strongly disagree with that. I mean, every bit of like sleep science and sleep research basically says you should only use your bed for sleep and sex, and that's it. And everything else is like associating your brain with non-sleep in the bedroom, which screws up your sleeping patterns, which screws up your mental health more than anything else. So I don't know what that psychiatrist is talking about. Just solidifies my opinion that psychiatry seems a little interesting sometimes.
Pseudoscience might not be the right term then.
Pseudoscience not the right term, but getting out there a little bit sometimes.
If it becomes a pattern, then it could be a sign of depression, is what he says next. But yeah, I mean, some people even say that like you shouldn't even have a TV near your
TV. Don't have a TV in my room
near your bed, because then like you'll be watching TV before going to bed or around bedtime. And if I guess that holds true to what you're saying as well, of you shouldn't be doing anything in bed that besides those two, I guess.
Yeah.
Besides the main thing being sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, I already told you I don't follow this 100% because I sit on my phone in bed. I sit on my phone at night in bed, but really, like, you're not really supposed to be exposed to like the blue light for, I don't know if it's a couple hours before you plan on sleeping, I think is what it is, but that almost no one follows that, and especially people who have a TV in their bedroom don't follow that. So I don't know. It seems like a terrible habit to me.
Yeah. Well, I think I am more motivated in the day if I don't use my phone in the morning. So, like when I was doing these, like when I was taking these days of, just these days of relaxation, I guess you would say, or take a half day at work. It wasn't. I mean, obviously, it's not good habits to be in. But if looking back on those days, I would think, okay, I was on my phone. Like I'd get up and I'd be on my phone for 30 minutes or close to an hour, and I'd be like, I don't really feel like going into work. I'd feel lazy. But once I kind of stopped that, I was a little bit more active and more encourage is not the right term. This term is slipping my mind right now. Motivated.
Yeah.
Throughout the day of like, okay, well, I got out of bed. I did some stuff. I'm going to work. I've got dressed. Like those things. If I'm on my phone for an hour in the morning, I don't do those things as well. So
yeah. Well, I think laziness like begets laziness. So you start out the day super lazy, then you're gonna finish your whole day lazy. And the opposite is true. If you start out doing the hardest thing, the rest of the day is gonna be accomplishing things. That's why I like to work out in the morning. Honestly, that always feels like the hardest thing you do in the day. So get it done first thing. And if I don't work out, I like to do some other kind of like thinking work in the morning, like programming or working on the app. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not against like taking relaxing days, but spending all day in bed and then finding some the one psychiatrist that says, oh, this is fine, seems stupid to me. Because you can find someone who says anything's fine.
I mean, the cigarettes right back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
8 out of 10 doctors smoke Camel, so yeah, I mean, the doctors can say anything. They will go for sure. What kind of medical risks are there? Do you know of, like, I guess if you just get bed sores if you stay in bed for too long?
Well, not in a day, but yes.
Not in a day? Okay.
I actually don't know how fast bed sores happen, but I mean, it's definitely a thing in the hospital. That's like a big worry. I mean, during COVID, patients who were in there for a long time. I mean, there's patients who got really, really sick who stayed in the hospital for months.
They were in induced comas, I think.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, a major worry is always bed sores and infection from that. So yeah, you're not going to get bed sores doing this. Yeah, I think it's more of like when you do absolutely nothing, that seems like it's not great for the mental health. I don't know like the actual science on it, but I feel like I've heard enough times that that's not ideal.
Well, there was I think it was a Navy captain, I think, and he talked about even if you don't do anything all day, the first thing you should do when you wake up is make your bed. If you make your bed, then you've accomplished something. And that's a psychological thing that you've already accomplished something. So you can, even if you don't accomplish anything else the rest of the day, at least you made your bed and it's presentable for you when you get home or when you get back into it. So I think it says something just to accomplish anything or to do a task, to start a task in the morning, like that. So
yeah, Yeah, that's the old like original Jordan Peterson popularity is the first thing you do, make your bed if you want to get out of the rut. You want to be disciplined? Well, make your bed. Start with something simple, but actually not that simple. It's actually a huge pain to make your bed. I found out, and yeah, everyone's kind of starts somewhere, and it feels like that if this Gen Z thing is actually a real trend and not just some made up trend, then finally the millennials can say that we can dog on Gen Z for being the lazy generation.
Well, as everyone's heard before, tough times create tough men, and tough men create easy times, and easy times create soft men, and the cycle. So, like,
We got a bunch of
we were
bed
soft,
rotters.
we're soft, and then we're gonna get the next generation is gonna be bed rotters.
Yeah, make a new version of it.
Soft or hard
Tough,
men.
tough times creates bed makers.
Yeah.
Bed makers create soft beds. Soft beds make bed rotters.
and bed rotter times make tough men. Gen Z, of course, is saying that they're just simply misunderstood. This article is also saying that if you indulge in bed rotting, it can actually serve to worsen your fatigue. I'm guessing because you don't sleep as well.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like,
I
if
don't
you
know.
stay in bed, maybe I'm sure it messes. Like, you feel like you have too much energy and you can't go to bed, so like you stay up later, maybe.
I think I think it probably is just an association thing. It's harder to sleep whenever your bed is doing a lot of other things besides sleeping.
And you're used to sleeping, and so like you become tired, you're like mentally tired because you're just sitting
yeah,
you're in
that's
your
probably
bed
also true.
and you're just associating.
Yeah.
Let's see. Salta or the psychiatrist is saying moderation is key.
Yeah, moderation is in don't do it at all. that's what it should be.
Yeah, that's a fairly sensitive test for depression if it becomes a habit. Though, let's see. This says you should seek medical help, or those who lack the motivation to get out of bed should try calling or texting a friend or a family member for support. Identifying a small errand or task to complete, or reaching out to a medical professional for help. That's not a bad thing, but
yeah.
If you're texting me every day to get you to do an errand for me to get out of bed, I'm going to run out of errands pretty quick. So what are your kind of thoughts, I guess, initial on bed rotting, if it's an actual trend or not? It's kind of...
I don't really necessarily think it's a real I find it hard to believe that it's a really real trend, rather than sounds to me like it's kind of ginned up trend that maybe someone put on TikTok and it became a meme, and us old people were like, oh, all the Gen Z does this. But if it is real, thoughts are it's bad.
Yeah. It definitely can't. It shouldn't be a real trend if it is. I understand wanting to lounge around in bed on a Saturday or something, or you're an off day, I guess. But if you're staying in bed longer than 2-3 hours, you need to do something. Like, that can't be good for you. I've experienced something like that before.
Go on a walk, go outside or something.
Yeah, like
touch grass.
Get a dog, and
yeah,
the dog will make you get up and feed it, and
yeah.
Then you'll actually accomplish something by feeding your dog. So, but yeah, all in all, not good. Negative. I don't think it's a real trend. I bet it was, like you said, probably 5 or 6 people try to make it a trend, and it became a meme, and then adults were like, "Oh my goodness!"
Are we like the boomers now?
Yeah, we are the boomers. Yeah.
My bad, Gen Z listeners, if there's any of them.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you're a bed rotter.
And fix yourself if you are.
Yeah. I'll send you some errands to run for me. I guess the next, if we want to transition into the next one, we talk about Threads. What
Threads,
in the
yes.
world is Threads, and who owns it? I mean,
Yeah. Threads. I mean, I'm sure most people have heard already that Threads is essentially like Meta / Facebook's clone of Twitter, because they think Twitter is vulnerable after the Elon purchase and all the loss of advertisers that they've had because of supposedly terrible things being posted on the site, although I haven't really noticed any change. um, so yeah, Threads is just their clone. And apparently it was done with, I guess they released it on Thursday or Friday and got 30 million users in the first day. But it's because, I mean, obviously they have a 1 billion user base that they're pulling from. Because if you get on Instagram, it says, oh, join Threads. And what's nice about Threads, the cool part about it is it imports your whole Instagram following / followers list into your Threads account, which is a very nice feature, and it's something that social media like app developers, a lot of like I guess Web3 kind of people back when it was more popular talked about social media sites having like social graphs where you could just take what you already have, what the following you've built, and move it onto another platform, because it's strange that we all have to start from scratch on every platform, especially if you're like an anon account. Uh, you can't just start. It's difficult to start over and rebuild a following. It's a lot nicer if you can import. So Threads took that feature and made it happen with Instagram, which I think is the best thing that it has for it, because so far I've been a little bit disappointed in it. But before I get into that, maybe what do you think so far?
It's very bare bones. I do think that does give them, because they were labeled the fastest growing social media platform of all time, I guess. And yeah, of course they are. They have the hey, your friend joined Threads. Do you want to join too? Cool. Here's how you follow them. And do you want to follow everyone on your, like, there's a follow all button
Mm-hmm.
from your Instagram. So like you can go to your Threads account and it'll pull your friends list and you can just click follow all.
Mm-hmm.
But like, of course, it's easy to have that. Now, my kind of, you said that other platforms should have that. They kind of have that already, but it's with your contacts list. Like your phone will access your contacts list in your
Yeah.
number base, and oh, this is linked to this account. You want to follow them,
Mm-hmm.
and or do you want to send them an invite to this, to join Snapchat? Well, no, that's kind of weird to send them a text of, hey, follow
Yeah.
me on Snapchat, or whatever it is. I don't know what it's called. Is it following on Snapchat? I'm a boomer, I guess.
Yeah. I don't have Snapchat.
So like, yeah, of course it's fastest growing, and there is kind of an alternative, but it's a weird one. Like I said, I'm not going to be texting my friend from the 5th grade that I have their phone number saying, hey, I need you to follow me on Threads. And as far as like actual threads go, I think you tweeted it or threaded it, I guess is the term. That's going to be the difficult part for them is, well,
They
Twitter's
don't
not
have a tweet.
yeah, like I'm not going to say, oh, did you read my thread? That sounds kind of,
Yeah.
you read my tweet? Yeah, I read your tweet.
That was such a fail on the naming system. They dropped the ball on that.
Well, they call it, is it called rethread and quote thread?
It's just
Because you can
everything just
quote, because
directly copied.
yeah, but it's also bare bones. Like from my side, I see
Yeah.
it and I'm like, there's no background or anything. It's literally just white and black text.
Yeah.
What it reminds me of is the government was like, we need to make a new Twitter because we can't censor people on Twitter anymore because Elon bought it. Hey, Facebook, here's $150 million. Go make a new Twitter, overtake them, and we want to censor people on your platform. We'll pay you, pay you monthly or whatever it is. And they said, okay. And they just like copied some source code from Twitter 2005 or whatever it was and pasted it on the app. And now here it is. And it's gross. Like my thread homepage or whatever is gross. it's just celebrities. I think like, you put this on in Threads. It's just celebrities or some box brand or big box brand posting something stupid to that. Hey, what do you guys think of Threads? And I hate it. It's just so like unauthentic and I can't see what my people that I'm following are posting until I got to like search their name and figure out, oh, I wonder what Keaton said.
Yeah.
So I think it's a complete and utter failure. Like I said, it obviously reminds me that the government gave them some money and said, we need you to do this and we need you to by this date. And they were like, whatever, and just threw something out there.
Wait, did they actually? That didn't happen.
No, that's my theory. That's my theory.
No, my theory is that they just thought they could.
It would just be easy.
It's easy because actually not a super difficult website for some engineers with AI capabilities and already Facebook/Meta's infrastructure and networks that they already have through Instagram. Super easy to make a powerful app. So this whole stupid, I already have 60 million, 70 million users is ridiculous because of course they do. The barrier to entry onto Threads is lower than any app that's ever been developed, probably, which is, I mean, I guess you talked about that text thing and how you can send invites. Well, I mean, every software developer, I guess every salesman knows you want to minimize the barriers to entry to buy things or download things. And that text message is a second barrier to entry. Like you have to, if you get sent, you have to be obnoxious enough to send the text, which is rare. And then second off, the person who receives the text has to think it's not weird enough to go to the app store, download the app, and then make an account. Whereas
and then follow each other.
So that's like 3 or 4 barriers versus on Threads, it's like on Instagram, it shows, do you want to download Threads? And on everyone's Instagram profile. And so they'll just click it and download. That's one barrier. Very easy to get a lot of users.
Well, and then the next part is like you don't have to make an account. It just says like you
want
to open with your Instagram account? Yeah, sure, click it.
Yes, exactly. So all this user stuff is stupid and
not actually accurate.
I see funny people. You know how like now it's all gonna be confusing because Twitter had thread boys. You know, you ever see those thread boys tweets that are like just obnoxious? They've been really obnoxious since ChatGPT came out, where it's like 15 use cases you didn't know about for ChatGPT, and then 15 use cases that were obvious to everyone who's not an idiot. And they're everywhere on Twitter, and that whole persona just moved over to Threads essentially, and I kind of lost where I was going with that. I distracted myself. Shoot.
Well, like Threads, I think people they're just gonna use AI. Like on Threads, you use anything you can to try to gain any type of following so you can make some type of money or monetization. Especially now, I'm surprised there's not more monetization by individuals.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I haven't been on the app enough, but like since there's no ads, 0 ads on the app because they said they're not adding ads until they get 1 billion users or something like that. Now, if they stop at 900 million, they're going to add ads.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised there's not more. Like,
this
is a perfect time of, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use ESPN. ESPN probably has a bunch of followings from their Instagram. People love ESPN. Hey, ESPN, here's $50 million. Give me a cool tweet. And it's going to pop up on everyone's thread.
Yeah.
Like the ESPN doesn't even have to promote it or anything, or like, hey, post this cool ad with this top 10 this week. And it'll be on everyone's threads. And there's 60 million users or whatever, however many they said it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just going to be everywhere, and it would be super easy, especially with there being 0 ads elsewhere on there.
It is a great opportunity if a business is already well established enough to be boosted by their algorithm to basically organically advertise themselves for free. So that in that aspect, Threads is great, and I'm not necessarily saying it won't be a success. I give it a very low chance of success, but I'll still be posting on it. I've enjoyed the sort of freedom that I have on it versus Twitter. Twitter have so many people from work who follow me, future people who I could be working for, and just people in general that I have this like nervousness to post anything. I mean, it's not like I'm posting bad things ever, uh, but it's like, should I post that or maybe not? And on versus Threads, I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna be an idiot because no one's following me, so it's fun. Uh, and I did remember what I was going to say about the Thread boys.
Hmm.
Uh, what I was going to say is, so I saw a funny tweet where a guy was acting like one of those Thread boys. He was like, "This is how to grow a social media app to a step by step method to grow a social media app to 30 million users in one day." And just like, and it has like, the thread symbol where it's like 1 out of 60 or whatever, and all it said was below that it was have a 1 billion user app before and just send all of your users to that new app. It's like, okay, that's what
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Elon could do his own app or something along those lines,
yeah,
and just like link Twitter to it. And I don't know how many users are on Twitter, but like
400 million roughly.
400 million.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's not that many.
No,
Um,
use Twitter is actually Twitter is incredibly overrated by Twitter users such as myself. And it's because it has so much influence and power in American politics, but in reality, it's only because only all the important politicians are on Twitter, diluting their brains with the most ridiculous things on that are posted on Twitter. When in reality, the majority of Americans are not on Twitter. uh, and I mean, I fall for that myself because I'm on Twitter all the time. It's the only social media that I'm definitely addicted to. But Elon could have made his own social media for much cheaper than he bought Twitter for. It was $44 billion. It doesn't cost that much to make a social media app. But what's the value in Twitter is the network that it offers. And Twitter that and Instagram has a network that built into threads, but there's something more to just the network than the users itself. It's like the conversations that are on the network, the type of user, the user that is on Twitter is a lot different than the user that is on Instagram. Uh, so that's the real reason I think Threads won't succeed as compared to Twitter, because Twitter has natively developed this over decade, this sort of personality, I guess, if you can call it that, as a social media where its users are there and that's who's going to be there. And I don't really ever think Twitter is going to be this money making gauntlet unless we kind of talked about before, unless they can really somehow monetize podcast/video feeds being on there for big users. So far, I don't necessarily see that succeeding. I hope it does. But yeah, I just don't think Threads is going to succeed because I think the user base is very, very different.
yeah, I mean, Instagram is just full of influencers, I guess you would say. That's what most people see. I mean, of course, you see people's vacation pictures or their dog pictures, but a lot of it seems very like influencer type on Instagram
Yeah.
of, hey, look at me. I am doing a food Instagram. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
I'm doing a really terrible job of explaining this, but it just feels like an influencer based app.
No,
And
it definitely.
Twitter feels like uh, a more grassroots kind of feel to it.
Yeah, Twitter is like Instagram is like in just extremely caricatured terms, it's like this supermodel uh versus Twitter is like the dark uh neck bearded intellectual that sits in his mom's basement. That's what Twitter is. And that sounds way worse, but it's actually not way worse than the supermodel only Instagram version caricature.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would say
makes
people
for
that are on Instagram a lot are probably like more depressed.
yes,
You're
that
constantly like comparing yourself to people and what they do. Where versus like something like Twitter is like, okay, it's just people's thoughts
yeah,
and just like text.
yeah, I've seen it said before. It was like Instagram is where you go post about all the best things that happen in your life, and you won't boost your life a little bit. You exaggerate what you have, which leads to terrible comparison. Especially, it's really bad for teenage girls. We talked about that a lot in the episode with Connor. And then Twitter is the place where you go complain about how bad your life sucks. So where do you want to go? I don't know. Really, you're probably best off being on neither of them.
Best off at home, bed rotting.
Now people are going to be bed rotting with Threads and Twitter. It's just going to be a disaster.
But what do you think about the graphical interface or the GUI or of Threads? Like Threads, it's kind of gross to me. Like I said earlier,
I don't think it's bad. I mean, it's almost the exact same as
it
Twitter.
feels plain. I don't know. Maybe it just feels really plain.
To me, it's basically the exact same. It's so weird. Like
maybe I need a screenshot of them side by side.
I don't even know how. I mean, you can't really see. I'm not going to.
You don't show it. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. my top one that's suggested, it just says, nah, never mind. It's just a bad tweet or a bad thread. I don't know why it's suggesting that to me.
Yeah, we're going to call tweets on Hey, I'm on Threads tweeting right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. But I don't think the UI is bad. To me, it's just an exact copy. It's weird that they don't even change the symbols for like the home page versus the highlights / for you page.
I'm telling you, man, they got some money from the government. They just posted some source code.
I mean, Twitter open sourced their code, and so they probably did just import, copy, change the colors a little bit, and that was it.
Yeah, they probably dumbed it down. So when did they release their API or whatever?
Or I think they just open sourced the code where it was in December or so. They open sourced the algorithm. I know that. So far, Threads algorithm sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, I saw like 4 Paris Hilton tweets on Threads or whatever.
So. You already said it. I mean, it's all A-list celebrities. It's all big brands. And then some of it's like people we know that we follow, but there's not even an option to go to the following only page.
Well, I mean, Twitter didn't used to be like that, but it would.
Yeah.
But it would only show who you were following. In the beginning.
Yes, and then it evolved slowly to more like popular tweets. But I think the algorithm was decent to a fault. I mean, every algorithm that
it can't be perfect, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, the problem is the best algorithms end up showing you the most mind degrading content because that's what we tend to look at the longest. And Threads, I mean, I guess I have to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's probably going to take some time before it builds up that data to figure out what you like and what you don't like. I remember the first day I was on there, it was showing me different content every single time I logged in. So I logged in the first time, it showed me like a bunch of rappers. It was like Meek Mill, stuff like that. The second time I logged in, it was all like hit female celebrities like Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, stuff like that. The third time I logged in, it was all just like gay. Like it was like, I'm coming out to my family this weekend, and like just like it was like exactly what you would expect LGBTQ like filtered only Twitter to me. And the fourth time I got on it was like all Christian stuff. It's like trying to figure out which one I
just throwing everything at you until you stay on for longer than 10 seconds.
Yeah, I was like, which one do you like the most? So that was fascinating to me because it definitely was set to like try to figure out what's going on. What are we interested in?
It's interesting it wouldn't pull anything from Instagram.
What do you mean?
Like it's interesting it wouldn't pull any of the data from Instagram. Obviously,
that's true.
Different.
That's true.
They're obviously different, so it's not directly relatable.
Well, I actually don't know if it did or not because I haven't logged into Instagram in a long time, so maybe it just didn't have data on me.
Well, I didn't get any sports.
You didn't get any sports
or supermodels. I guess Paris Hilton. But so yeah, I don't know. I would think that some of that algorithm data would be applicable, but some of it not be because like it's pictures versus like I don't some of those people, sports people, I don't really care about. Like I don't care what they have to say. I mean, I might care about like the interesting fact, but it probably was trying to figure it out in general. I'm sure they did it for a lot of people. But it was interesting. I don't know. I don't like the user interface. Like I said, it seems bare bones, and maybe it's because the colors, because it's just black and white, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a white background with black text.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe I wasn't seeing enough pictures because like on Twitter, I think every 4 to 5 posts I see is a video or a picture of something. And so
Yes.
maybe that's what it was. Like I wasn't seeing pictures,
Yeah.
and so like wasn't spicing up the background enough
Yeah.
to interest me. It'd be kind of interesting to see the
Well,
data on that kind of stuff.
I think I mean, you're definitely right. It's a lot less pictures, but Twitter figured out, or I mean, not even that long ago, that pictures and videos tend to keep users on the platform longer. So it started pushing the pictures and videos content more. So it does better when you post a picture than just a tweet. But I think that's kind of a negative because to me it's a text based platform, not a picture based platform. But it's
Well, they did
sort
it
of
on Facebook too. They changed that a
yeah,
long
yeah.
time ago. That like, hey, when you post, would you like to post your text with a background?
Hmm.
And because they figured out that pictures do better. So,
Yep.
um,
But I wonder if Threads will eventually evolve into that, or if they're just like, no, we have Instagram right here, so you can
well,
just
I'm sure it'll be linked where you can post from Instagram to Threads, just like
yeah,
you can with Facebook.
yeah. It'll
So
be really interesting whenever they just have
I think that
automatic
actually
links.
hurts it. I think that hurts it.
Really,
I think that, and I probably feel like I'm having some profound statement, but it's probably pretty basic. Um, that when you share to Facebook and Instagram, it's something Chance and I talked about a long time ago of like, you want your content to be unique. If you want to
hmm
actually grow a brand, you wouldn't post the same thing to Twitter that you would post to Threads. And you wouldn't post the same picture you post on Instagram to Facebook and to Twitter or the same clip. Because
hmm
like you want it to be unique. Because like what's the point? If I'm gonna see it on Threads, why would I follow you on Instagram if I'm gonna
that's
see it on
true.
Threads? Or
Yeah,
if I see you tweet it on Twitter and then you post it on Facebook and Threads, what's the point of following on those?
hmm
Because it's just the same content. So I'm just gonna follow you on one, and whichever app I'm on the most, I'll follow you that on. Which
yeah,
I guess could help you, but I think in the long run, it's just a negative to be posting as a content creator and even as a social media platform. It just hurts you, I think, in general, to have the same content across multiple platforms. Because, like I said, if I see your Instagram photo on Threads, I'm not going to go on Instagram and like it because I don't really care.
yeah.
But I already saw it on Threads, so I don't know. What's your
No,
take?
that makes sense to me. It kind of goes along with what I was saying. It's like every platform has this like personality, and there's something native to each platform. Threads doesn't have one yet. Twitter has one. I mean, LinkedIn has one. Yeah, that's probably the most obvious. Is like LinkedIn. You have to pretend to really care about these ridiculous things and
And care about
exaggerate
other
their
people's
qualities.
businesses.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
like
I'm glad you got this job, but I really don't care that much.
LinkedIn is like what Instagram is for teenage girls, where they all go comment on each other. Oh, you're so pretty. LinkedIn is like that for guys, where it's like, oh, great job, man, and no one actually means what they say.
They just click the the pre-formed
Yeah,
text at the bottom and just move on.
yeah.
They didn't even read the post. They just saw the oh, congratulations. Okay, cool. Move on. I mean, it's a place to brag about your accomplishments that no one cares about. So
Yes, yes. I
now
see
there is
LinkedIn.
some like LinkedIn positives of like good networking for jobs and stuff. And it's cool to post your resume, but
Yeah, I mean, honestly, LinkedIn to me is all about, like you said, it's networking and finding jobs, but also it's for business to business sales. You want to sell to businesses, then LinkedIn's probably the best social media, maybe the only social media where you can really succeed through business to business sales. And I don't say that from experience at all. I'm trying to sell to businesses in some ways, but I think LinkedIn is the only way I can social media wise. But that's LinkedIn's personality. Twitter's personality, we kind of talk about, and Threads. Who knows? You just don't post the same thing on all the platforms.
it
And I
hurts you in
mean,
the long run.
in a way, I guess you can say you can post the same thing in a on the platforms, but it's like posting it natively in a way where, um, I mean, you share a different style of tweet versus a different style of thread, whatever those end up being. But yeah, just going and saying, I had eggs for breakfast today on Twitter, and then go and saying, I had eggs for breakfast on Threads seems like a big waste of your time.
Yeah. What also, because doesn't Facebook say posted from Instagram, or is it a private thing?
It does. It does. Actually, this reminds me of a funny story, and I won't say who I know. Who this is, but I know someone who. I know this mom who always posts on like double posts from Facebook to Instagram, but then goes back on to Instagram and posts it again. So every time she posts something, she has it twice on Instagram, but she never has realized it. And it's always like just a very slightly different caption because like, I mean, you don't exactly perfectly remember what you said.
Unless you copy paste, like me.
Unless you copy paste. It's so funny. I need to tell them sometime, but it's just funny
when
to
you
watch.
post from if I see on Facebook posted from Instagram, or even like the if I see like at so and so, like, thank you so much for coming on vacation with me, and you post on Instagram and it tags them, and then you post on and it shares to Facebook automatically, and Facebook or the doesn't work on Facebook, and then it says posted from Instagram. I kind of don't care as much about the post because I'm like, they didn't even take the time to go on Facebook and post it. So why do I care?
Yeah.
And then I never get on Instagram because Instagram sucks. But from my perspective, being an overweight man, Instagram sucks with no hair. And so like Facebook, I don't know. It just seems disingenuous on Facebook to see the like posted from Instagram at Keaton _ is tall, get tagged in something, and it doesn't post on Facebook. I don't know. It just seems not genuine.
Yeah.
When I see
you're
that,
just trying to build a brand, I guess, in a way.
Not even really build a brand, just like laziness.
But the secret to building the brand is for people to not know you're building the brand.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay, so in that case, now let's just talk about like content in general. Both of us like we don't really push this podcast super hard on growth and stuff, but you have your production and click gaming business that you've used to advertise. So you've used social media. Do you think it's better to like just hyper focus on one or two social medias, or spread yourself out and hit them all?
Well, I guess if you're paying someone, you're
doing it yourself.
Doing it yourself, focus on the ones that you enjoy.
Yeah.
So I enjoy Twitter. So like I don't mind posting on Twitter, like on there and like engaging with people because I'm on Twitter all the time already. So like I enjoy that. And one thing that we don't do very well of is posting on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Because I hate Instagram. I've said it before on this specific episode and other episodes. I don't like Instagram, and I don't like cutting up clips and stuff, and it's just not for me. So I don't do a good job of posting on Instagram, but hopefully like your business partner enjoys it or likes doing it so they can post on there. So I would focus on the ones that you really enjoy. When you get a big enough brand on there or you make enough money on your business, you can pay someone to post on all of them for you. That's why they have social media companies, marketing companies, I guess you would say, to do that kind of stuff. Because besides Twitter, I just don't enjoy social media.
I'm with you there.
So I would say focus on the ones you enjoy. On some of those other ones, you might have the account, but like, what's the point if you're never going to post on it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say just post on ones you enjoy. I mean, I said that 3 times now, but because if you're posting on ones you don't enjoy, you're going to just lose out on. You're going to get burnt out and not do it on any of them.
Yeah. So I'd agree with you. I mean, I have a lot less experience doing this, but I find myself the same way where it's like I don't want to post on anything except for Twitter. That's what I like doing. I don't like Instagram. Don't really like TikTok very much. I'll get on it from time to time. But sometimes to me, it's like if Twitter's probably also like if you actually wanted to sell / grow a business / podcast, Twitter seems like maybe not the most effective one out of those.
I would say
Versus
it's probably the easiest to go viral on. I mean, because like, how do you go
yes.
viral on Instagram unless
Yeah,
like
yeah. Not on Instagram, but
you can't really go
TikTok is
viral? Yeah, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say like the might sound bad, but like really the only way to really grow on Instagram, at least in my opinion, is to be kind of have like not an anonymous account, but have like like a foodie. If you're a foodie, you post all your foods, and like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily about you; it's more about the food and like your
Something about
experience with the food.
yeah,
I don't
like
know what you would call
aesthetics.
that. Yeah,
I
like oh, if you're a
probably
really big flower person, post the pictures about the flowers. It might be you holding your flowers or whatever. That kind of Instagram, and then pretty girl Instagram or workouts. Like
yeah.
those are the only 3 or 2, I guess, if you want to lump pretty girls and workouts together. Those are like the only 2 or 3 things that are really popular on Instagram and easy to
Mhm.
grow.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, other than that, you can't really go viral.
Yeah. Well, you could with Reels, but they've kind of, like,
Well,
cut that off
they cut it off
recently.
because you don't get paid anymore. Nobody gets paid
Yeah,
on the
no
reels.
one cares about it now.
So people are posting less because they burnt themselves out on money.
Yeah, I it's kind of a sidetrack, but I got on Instagram. Like you said, when I was on Instagram semi often, I was never that super into it, but I was on a decent amount. I love to follow like aesthetic traveling, cabins, like mountains, Instagram accounts, and when I got on recently, all those were like just taken over by like OnlyFans girls. Like that's all it was posting, and it was still called like Lovely Cabins 3, and it was it's like pretty like doing some
Did somebody
advertisement
buy it
for some
out?
girl. I think they were paying to
Oh, okay.
advertise, and I was just like, this is really what the website has become. Like this, it's easy to sell out.
Yeah, like I said, the aesthetics thing, I guess, is what you're calling it. I don't know.
Mhm.
I follow a girl that does food stuff, and no offense to her, I really don't care about what she has to say. I just see like, oh, because she's in Oklahoma City, so that's where
Oh,
we are.
no.
She's in Oklahoma City, and I see like these cool foodie things, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I said, I don't really care about her. No offense to
Yeah.
her, but I follow her for the food. I'm a big guy. I like to eat, and occasionally I like to get something that's kind of semi fancy, and so I follow her. And when she posts pictures of like herself, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It might be one every 10 or so,
Yeah.
but like Instagram, that's really all it is. I mean, I don't really know how you grow on Facebook. Maybe if you post the Instagram or if you post Facebook Reels or whatever, you
Yeah.
can grow that way. But like, unless you're the only other way really on Facebook to grow is if you pay for advertisement. Like people
Yeah.
like your page or like whatever link you put or whatever. But Facebook, you can't really grow unless you get all your friends to add or to like your page and then invite all their friends to like your page or whatever and post funny things
Yeah.
or post whatever. But it'd be really hard to grow on Facebook.
Yeah. So you think Twitter and
Twitter's the
TikTok
easiest to
are
go. Twitter, in my opinion, would probably be TikTok, yeah, and YouTube Shorts. It's probably
Mhm.
the easiest way to go viral and maybe gain like a bunch of followers at once.
Yeah.
But as far as like Instagram, it's going to be a pretty slow thing. Like I follow some painting stuff, like where they do like cool. I found them on TikTok and follow them on Instagram because they did like some cool backgrounds. Like they would do, what iPad like art stuff is, kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cartoony,
Yeah.
and they would do like mountains and stuff, and that was really cool. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Well, you can't really screenshot. I mean, you could download the video and screenshot, but you can't really screenshot on TikTok because you get the like button and all that stuff on the
Mhm.
side. And it's a video, so it's not like I can save the photo.
Yeah.
So I just follow them on Instagram so I can screenshot their Instagram and shrink it down and use it as a background.
Yeah.
So that kind of artistic stuff I enjoy, or like aesthetic photos of mountains and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like photography is something I could get into. I'm really bad at it. So like seeing
Fun
cool
hobby.
nature,
Yeah.
yeah, expensive hobby
Yeah.
to get an expensive camera. But like I don't know. I follow these like kind of niche things on
Mhm.
Instagram, and every once in a while I'll get on and check on them. But like I said, it'd just be really difficult to grow on
Yeah.
Instagram unless you're some type of aesthetics, a workout person, or attractive woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then answer this. Which social media would you want to have 100,000 followers the most on
Currently,
currently? Yeah.
probably TikTok
Okay.
or maybe YouTube Shorts. Even if it was like a different than like say we had this channel and then we had a YouTube Shorts that
Shorts,
had
same channel.
100,000.
Yeah.
I think the YouTube Shorts one would be fine. I think that would be. I'd say TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah.
For at least me and my personal brands or my businesses, I guess you would say, or
Yeah.
something technical, I think those would be the most beneficial. Now, if I was to like say I made one from scratch and it was like I was doing photography or like the foodie thing, which
Yeah.
I think would be cool as well. Instagram, of course, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like if I was starting from scratch with the current stuff that I have. Those three that I mentioned would be the best for the brands.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I mean, I know, like I said, I know a lot less than you about this, but I think TikTok probably same. I guess yeah, if you separate YouTube Shorts after that, but I guess if we don't separate YouTube Shorts, then YouTube is probably the most valuable. But YouTube itself is way different than
I
TikTok
said
and Twitter and
TikTok because you
social
can
medias.
those like YouTube and TikTok would be the easiest to monetize if you had 100,000.
Yeah, there's
So
something
that's
about
why I kind of
visual that I don't know makes people trust a little bit more.
and then Twitter. I said Twitter because like you could monetize of like taking some type of ad
Yeah,
and turning that into some type of revenue with 100,000. Because like you could post if you had something semi funny and it went semi viral, like you had 100,000 followers and you post something and it got 250,000 likes, it was quite a bit. You post the link to somebody that pays you, you could put my pillow on there or whatever, or some other type of, like you could do, I don't something that people don't know that much about. And maybe they do more than I think. You can make money off of Amazon without like doing anything besides sharing links. You've probably seen those like the top 10 things I bought on Amazon.
Oh, those affiliates,
They
yeah.
share their affiliate link or whatever
Yeah.
for or they have even a website that has like all the links. But even you just shared like, hey, I bought this cool Yeti
Yeah.
on Amazon, and you just shared it with your Twitter followers, and you got, you get a certain percent. I don't know how the percentages and stuff work, but you could easily make money on that.
Yeah, it depends. I guess I've actually been interested in Amazon affiliates before. Never made a buck off of it. Tried to a long time ago, but the percentages are tiered. Like it's different categories have different percentage amounts. But I did see that it's funny you bring that up because I saw a girl post a TikTok yesterday on her Amazon affiliates. She had a huge TikTok. I don't know what she did. She must have done like business stuff because a lot of times it'll show me business marketing stuff. She was like, "This is how much I made from Amazon affiliates last month," and she gave Amazon $92,000 worth of sales on whatever she was affiliating for, and she made $700 from it. That is like a
Drop in the
terrible
bucket.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like free to you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like those, I don't know. It's obviously $700 not something you can live off of, but some type of supplemental income of like, hey, I support this product.
Yeah,
And you can probably get some better deals through the like actual seller. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know how all that works.
Yeah. I think from what I've learned a lot is that like the YouTube affiliates, but rather than like the affiliate linking style that most people do, the affiliates that are really valuable are when you reach out to the company and you say, okay, hey, I have this big following. I will advertise for you. I want to cut. Like I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure Andrew Huberman, huge podcast, health scientist, pretty sure Huberman loved momentous protein, which he advertises every single time on his podcast. But I think he reached out to them originally and was like, I love this product. Like, I want to advertise for it. And when he started advertising for it, it blew that company up like massively. And he got a cut of, I don't, well, actually, I don't know what his deal was. So I shouldn't
He
say.
could have gotten like some shares or whatever, or percentage
Yeah.
of the company.
I don't know what deal he got, but I'm sure it was well paid. And those are the type of affiliates that are super nice.
Well, and I think as a creator, it's important to have a product you're behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know a lot of, like I follow a lot of Pokemon guys on YouTube and stuff. Like I like watching. If you don't know what Nuzlocke are, what I can explain to you later if you ask. But like I follow just like these Pokemon videos and guys, and they're like, "Man, I really love this product. You know, not sponsored, but would love to work with you guys."
Yeah.
Of some type of protein or headsets or something like that. I mean, they're always doing ads for some company like Helix mattress and stuff like, you know,
Yeah.
online mattresses and stuff, which I haven't heard bad things about, but I haven't necessarily heard good things either. So,
Yeah.
but I'm sure they get decent amounts of dollars on that. I mean, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about, but it's important to be behind the product that you're actually advertising.
Yeah.
I guess, okay. Do you know much about Joe Rogan and this alpha brain stuff?
Yes, I do.
Have we talked about
actually.
this before?
We haven't talked about this on the podcast.
Okay.
I know it decently. It didn't he got a stake in the company.
Did he?
Didn't he?
I have no idea. I just see it all the time, and the ads look so fake. The ads look like it's AI generated Joe Rogan advertising their product, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy this.
I'm pretty sure he has a stake in the company, and he's been advertising it for years. Alpha Brain. Let's see.
Joe Rogan owns 50% of the company.
For $0. He was given 50% of the company for no money, just purely advertisement. And I mean, back when I loved Joe Rogan and listened to his podcast all the time, I bought Alpha Brain. I was like, all right, let's try this. I don't really notice a difference with it. I'm not an anti-supplement guy. I take lots of supplements, but I think I've learned from supplements that generally the non-mixed ones are better. Like, buy the individual ingredients and you take it yourself and determine if it gives you benefit or not, and whether or not you actually care about a noticeable benefit, because that's another thing. But yeah, I didn't never notice anything with Alpha Brain.
This says some people have difficulty falling asleep or insomnia, while others report having more vivid dreams or even nightmares. They report having lightheaded, medically termed vertigo after taking Alpha Brain. Huh, that's interesting. But like I said, I've seen ads all the time on TikTok of this Alpha Brain stuff, and it just looks so fake. I don't know what it is about the ad, but I'm like, this looks AI generated.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to find some and I'll send it to you.
Maybe
well, if he owns it, why would they need a AI generate him?
I don't know. Maybe they were like, oh, we gotta make him say nicer things.
Does he advertise it on his podcast?
I don't know. I haven't listened to his podcast in a long time, but he used to every time, all the time. I mean, that's why I bought it back in college.
Okay. Oh, was that long ago? Okay.
Yeah. I thought it would help me then make a difference.
I don't know. To me, it sounds like something that just pumps you full of caffeine, like one of those gas station pills, you know?
Yeah, well,
full of caffeine and makes you feel kind of weird.
Yeah, no, it had no caffeine in it. That's why I was interested in it. And it didn't have like a strong stimulant effect that I noticed or anything. But yeah, but that's really why he advertises. He owns 50% of the company, and that's no small number for him.
Yeah,
but that's like the creator business. Like, those big creators can just can be given opportunities like that. Gosh, there was another example. Did we talk about this already on the podcast before? There's a fitness girl.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't remember her name. Kayla.
We talked about a girl. I think
Kayla. It's Inez, I think is her name, and I don't know anything about her. Was a fitness girl, probably still is, and she had a huge following, and she had a software developer, I think, approach her and say, "Hey, I'll make an app for you." And okay, well, I don't know what the deal was between them. I'm sure they, split it 60-40, 75-25, most of it going to the creator. And this app was sold for $400 million. Like, that's how valuable an audience can be if you actually build a real business around it.
Well, I mean, that goes to point out, like, if you really want to do something and you truly believe in your product, you can take it to someone and get free advertising through them by giving them a portion and going on from there. Like,
yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about how effective. I always had this theory that like advertising it doesn't work on me. It doesn't work on me. But I started to realize actually it kind of does, and I don't think I'm that susceptible to advertising. But one thing I noticed is you've heard of Athletic Greens, right?
No.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, I guess Athletic Greens basically advertises for every single podcast, every single YouTube channel, everything I listen to, follow. Doesn't matter what field they're in, if it's health, science, travel, they're all advertising for Athletic Greens. And in my head, I'm like, I have no desire, especially before, to drink a freaking veggie smoothie or whatever it is. And I know for a fact that there's no science that says this is actually genuinely going to help you be healthier. It probably would help you be healthier if you're not already healthy, I guess. But there's not like strong, hardcore data, which I really like to have. But just the fact that all these people are advertising it to me makes me want to buy it. And I actually looked up how much it was recently. It's ridiculous. It's like $150 a month. And I was like, I could. No, I won't do this. But just the fact that I was like tempted shows how powerful it can be when it's like people
you respect,
channels that you like and respect.
Yeah, I would say advertising doesn't work that well on me, but then I buy something that is advertised to me and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? 3 years ago? No, before that, 4 years ago. I bought Goldbelly. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It was an advertisement they'll ship you food from wherever you want in the United States. And so I saw an ad on Facebook. I was like, that's really cool. That's really cool. And so like I bought Chicago style pizza from a pizzeria in Chicago, and it flew in. I bought some New York style cheesecake, flew in from New York, and like had like this like meal. I mean, granted, it's not as good because they put dry ice in the it's frozen, it's a dry ice. The cheesecake was obviously amazing because it's a frozen thing already, or a chilled thing already. But like the pizza was kind of mid. But I mean, I spent like $75-$80 on this, like 2 pizzas and a New York, full New York cheesecake variety. And so like I think that all the time, kind of like you do, of like, it doesn't work on me. And then I'll do something stupid like that, like freaking Goldbelly, and buy $100 worth of food and try it. I'm like, well, that wasn't for me.
Yeah. I mean, this is just, obviously the whole content creators things is pretty new. Like, and I think that the people are just now starting to figure out that big audiences can have big businesses built on them like that because it works so well. Advertising works so well. And then combined with my favorite thing, AI, the barrier to entry to building software, apps, stuff like that is way lower. So people can build apps related to the audience they want or already have. So like you are a fitness person, well, let's build a fitness app. So I think that we're just about to see just this boom in creator businesses. But I wonder if that's going to like dilute the value of them, because once everyone's doing it, it's like, okay, maybe it's not as cool as I thought. Maybe I won't get on this.
Until it catches on, I guess it's effective. I think what's gaining quite a bit of popularity, at least on my like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, is like Amazon things. Amazon will like, I don't know if they send data to Facebook or whatever, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they do some, but I'll get an ad for like, it'll just be an Amazon ad. And like, would you like to buy this on Amazon? And it's like just different photos or different products.
Yeah.
And I'll like, I don't know. I'll just scroll through and see what they got. And I'm like, not really. And move on. But I think those are going to get pretty targeted, and it's going to be, I know I talked about buying some dog food, and I got an advertisement for dog food and a dog bowl, so I might as well. And so like I think that stuff's going to take off quite a bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I do it with shoes too. Like shoes will pop up, and I'll just like scroll through the shoes. Oh, that's cool. I don't need any shoes. Scrolling. So I think those will get better, and those are pretty effective, at least on me.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts or anything you want to talk about, or
no? I think.
Any final thoughts on Threads?
Threads. I mean, we'll see what happens. I would bet if I was a gambling man, I'd bet that it doesn't work out just because the audience, the user is different than the user on Twitter. But maybe this will make Twitter like work a little bit harder and dev some new stuff, new things, put out some new things out. But we'll see. What about you?
My thoughts are that Threads it'll be a thing for a while for sure. And to go on my previous theory that it's a government thing, I think it will. I don't know if it won't take off, but it will be heavily censored, and I think they will be receiving money from the government in some capacity to continue their threads to try to take down Twitter so they can control it. That's my conspiracy theory.
That's your conspiracy? Well,
and I think it could be possibly true, but
I don't know. I like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think I kind of trust Zuckerberg more than most of the billionaire people. But okay, but before we go, do Mark Zuckerberg and Elon fight in the octagon?
No, of course not. There's too much to lose for either side.
That's true.
I guarantee you.
Who would win? Who would win?
Probably Mark Zuckerberg. He's like a robot.
He's like trained for years.
The moment Elon would lose, the Tesla stock would tank. So it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Twitter stock would probably go up, but Tesla stock would tank.
Tesla shareholders must just be going insane since Elon's purchase of Twitter.
I think Twitter would go up just because it would be like super popular, and I bet they would probably live stream it on their respective platforms. I say respective. It would be very funny for Elon to stream it on Twitter, and then Musk stream it on Threads. That would be hilarious.
Yes, Mark on Threads and Elon on Twitter.
But it would be really interesting to see, like, because are they boxing or is it UFC? Do you know?
I think it was UFC rules because and Mark Zuckerberg can use his Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which I've heard he's very good at.
Well, yeah, he's got a lot of money to make sure he's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see like meta shorts, and like there's, they have different colors, like the Threads logo, and it's got Instagram on the right cheek and Threads on the left cheek, one of his shorts. And
this is the new Andrew Carnegie versus John D. Rockefeller, but it's just taken to the most extreme where they actually fight.
Did one of them get on the Titanic?
What's that?
Did either of them get on the Titanic?
I don't think so.
Have you heard the theory about the Titanic thing where they used a fake ship? It was not the actual Titanic. They built two Titanics or whatever, and the second one was like never passed inspection or something. And then they named it. It was, I don't know. They like switched the names, and it's the one that crashed, and they got a big insurance money or a bunch of insurance money. And then the other theory on top of that, or including that, is that all the most powerful people in the world were getting on the Titanic, including those that didn't want the Federal Reserve. And then the people that wanted the Federal Reserve got off at the last minute before it sailed, and the people all died that wanted the Federal Reserve. And now we have a Federal Reserve. Like, I don't know.
Wasn't the Federal Reserve established way before the Titanic?
I have no idea.
I don't know this for
I
sure.
haven't checked that, but I've heard that before. I heard that theory a couple times. So
I guess I think the Fed was established really early on.
It was like Alexander
Hamilton did it, but I think it might have gotten taken out for a little bit and then brought back in. But I'm not for sure.
I don't even know what I would search on Google for that.
I need to fact check myself.
But yeah, okay. I didn't know if either of them got on, and the real fight was that Rockefeller got Carnegie onto the Titanic and he drowned. And that's how they actually fought. So I don't know. Do you want to look that up before we go?
Nah.
Okay. Well, if you have nothing else, this has been Simply Technical. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.